Hi, I'm Debbie Skiri, and I'm from Wyndham. And my question tonight is really around where we started this conversation, which was really around the schools.
Around the what?
Schools.
Oh.
And I've heard a lot this evening about democratic principles, civic engagement, and I guess I'm wondering, Justice Souter, if you could share with us your thoughts about what the appropriate role and probably responsibility as well of our schools to produce civically engaged students.
Well, I'll have to be careful of that one because I could talk even longer on that than on some of the other things that I've talked on. But I'll start with the bottom line. I don't believe there is any problem of American politics and American public life which is more significant today than the pervasive civic ignorance of the Constitution of the United States and the structure of government. I hope every one of you runs for the legislature. I won't spend a lot of time on statistics, but we know with pretty reliable evidence that 2/3 of the people in the United States do not know that we have 3 separate branches of government. I remember, and I don't know the name of it, but I can remember hearing about a survey back 4 or 5 years ago in which a substantial percentage of Americans believed that the Supreme Court of the United States was a committee of the Congress. It didn't used to be this bad. When I was in school, we had actually, in the course of high school, there were 2 required civics courses. When we got out of high school, we may not have known a lot, but we at least had a basic understanding of the structure of American government, the structure of state government, for that matter. And what that gave us was not only a kind of a framework to hang on the things that we learned later. It gave us a basic sense of where responsibility lies for given problems within the government. And a corollary of that was we certainly understood where responsibility lay in matters that were the business of the legislative branch or the Congress of the United States. And we knew that we could influence that by voting. Today, I don't believe there would have been any 2/3 ignorance rule back at that time. Starting about 1970, the teaching of civics went into decline from which it has never significantly recovered. The good news, I know simply from what I've learned in New Hampshire, is there are a lot of terrific civics teachers in New Hampshire who are trying to turn that around. One of their problems is that they don't necessarily have the material support to do it very well, and the demands on teaching, and this includes the demands that are imposed by the No Child Left Behind rule, makes it very difficult to find the time for more civics. But the reason I said that I think it is the most significant problem that we've got is that I think some of the aspects of current American government that people on both sides find frustrating are in part a function of the inability of people to understand how government can and should function. It is a product of civic ignorance. What I worry about is a remark that Benjamin Franklin made, and Susan Leahy quoted Jefferson at the beginning about how an ignorant people can never remain a free people. Democracy cannot survive too much ignorance. Franklin, in effect, had a comment to which the Jefferson comment is a kind of an answer or a response. And you probably have heard this, but it bears repeating. Franklin was asked by someone, I think, on the streets of Philadelphia shortly after the 1787 Convention adjourned, what kind of government the Constitution would give us if it was adopted. And Franklin's famous answer was, a republic if you can keep it. You can't keep it in ignorance. I don't worry about our losing Republican government in the United States because I'm afraid of a foreign invasion. I don't worry about it because I think there is going to be a coup by the military, as has happened in some other places. What I worry about is that when problems are not addressed, people will not know who is responsible. And when the problems get bad enough, as they might do, for example, with another serious terrorist attack, as they might do with another financial meltdown, some one person will come forward and say, "Give me total power and I will solve this problem." That is how the Roman Republic fell. Augustus became emperor not because he arrested the Roman Senate. He became emperor because he promised that he would solve problems that were not being solved. If we know who is responsible, I have enough faith in the American people to demand performance from those responsible. If we don't know, we will stay away from the polls. We will not demand it. And the day will come when somebody will come forward and we and the government will in effect say, take the ball and run with it. Do what you have to do. That is the way democracy dies. And if something is not done to improve the level of civic knowledge, that is what you should worry about at night. So, to end where I began, the support of civic education in the United States, including in this state, is a public problem and a public responsibility which is second to none.